Hoop Dreams, the podcast, an Unlearning Network production.
Welcome to the Hoop Dreams podcast. I'm Will Gates. That's my dog, Arthur Agee, and we got a special show for you today.
Yes.
Joining me are my three sons, Will Gates Jr., Jalon Gates, and Marques Gates. And today we're going to have a preview of the 2021-22 NCAA college basketball. And you know right now, everything is open. COVID is no longer a factor. Fans will return to the stadiums. And what that really means is we can expect some loud and crazy college basketball this year. And just looking at the preseason top 25, AG, we got Gonzaga sitting at the top.
Yeah.
Will this be the year? Who knows?
Yeah.
UCLA, you know, they was right there last year. Kansas is always there.
Yeah.
And of course, Villanova, consistent. But it's surprising here. You got Texas sitting at top 5, especially after the coaching change. But they did some things differently this year through that transfer portal. They went out and got really the top athlete of the transfer portal. But then, of course, we got our guy Newt sitting at Michigan at 6. And then you get Purdue, Baylor, Duke, Kentucky, Illinois. I'm excited to see what Illinois is going to do. And, of course, Memphis. Let's see how Penny get these boys going, because I think this is the year. He's actually one of my sleeper teams this year that I think can actually make the Final Four. Absolutely. Oregon, Alabama, who is known as a football school, but I think they're going to be tough this year. I can see them getting to an Elite 8 status. And of course, Houston can always, he just keeps turning out athlete after athletes after athletes. But we want to jump into this thing. I got my sons here who are two former college athletes themselves. Marques is currently a college athlete. Fellas, I just want to ask you guys, since this is your first time on a podcast, how y'all feel about being on the show right now?
Since I'm the oldest, I'm going to go first. It's pretty cool for me. Obviously, being your namesake, it's pretty dope to kind of see you guys bring it back, you know, all these years later and still have this connection. And just the guests you've been able to get on the show. All the interviews have been beautiful. I love them. It's just an honor for me to be on here just to kind of just talk about our experiences growing up being sons of Hoop Dreams, essentially, you know.
I'm just glad to be in the office, to be honest with you. I just want to be in the office.
My man.
You're looking good in that background back there.
I take the podcast very seriously. I'm subscribed on all the platforms that I can have. It's literally entertaining just to see you and Arthur go back and forth, and it's definitely an honor to be on here.
For me, it's honestly kind of different because I wasn't even born when the movie came out first.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so different for me because it's like now that I'm older, I get to see you and my dad like kind of actually like talk about everything that was going on during that time. So I'm like really actually getting to understand and experience it. So it's really cool to be on the podcast.
The Hoop Dreams boys. So I just got to ask this from y'all, and I know AG got some questions for y'all, but how has the movie impacted y'all either in a good way, a bad way, or any kind of way?
Personally, for me, it was like the main thing that I focused on and thought about when I was growing up as a kid. For people that don't know, like I've been in St. Joe's camp since I was like 9 years old, like 3rd grade. So I basically grew up with Hoop Dreams being attached to me since as long as I can remember. So I know, especially when I was younger, it was definitely tough to kind of feel like you want to be yourself, but you want to live up to what Dad has done and what Arthur's done. I mean, kind of repeat that in a sense. It doesn't help when your name is Will Gates as well. In the city of Chicago, everybody know Hoop Dreams. You know, if they played basketball, especially in the time that I was coming up, if you played basketball, you knew about the movie Hoop Dreams. So I just thought that was a two-edged street. It got me in some doors, but it also kind of put me in a position where it was a little bit tough to kind of crack through that little ceiling that I may have had at the time, because people would kind of look at me and like, oh, he just kind of getting whatever he can get just because his dad is who he is and who he's attached to and things like that. So that's how it was for me.
For me, is to be honest with you, I was kind of oblivious most of my time, especially in Chicago. I feel like Will took more of the hits that I didn't really have to get, especially being a namesake. On the court, it really didn't. I was so oblivious. Sometimes my dad would have to remind me, like, "Hey, remember, you a Gates. You can put the ball in the basket." That's really only the extent of that. But off the court, a trillion times over. I mean, we couldn't go into a 7-Eleven. We couldn't go to a Dunkin' Donuts. We couldn't go to a movie theater without somebody bringing up, like, wait a second, that is you. And then they would want to get a picture, want to record, get on their phones with their mamas and their daddies. Like that stuff really kind of brought you back into reality. Like, wow, my dad is that guy. So that it's kind of like two halves. Like on the court, it really didn't really affect me because I feel like I kind of just was able to have fun and enjoy the game. But off the court, there was no escaping. And my dad was literally everything to a lot of people, and especially on the West Side.
Yeah.
Well, if it really didn't affect him, it really didn't affect me either. I was kind of there for the ride for the most part, for a lot of it. It wasn't really until high school that I really connected all the dots to really be like, oh yeah, my dad's Will Gates from Hoop Dreams. Like that's when it kind of all really unfolded, because I was really just playing for fun. Like it was just kind of there, but when I started really taking it serious, that's when I kind of started hearing people say, oh yeah, aren't you Will Gates' son, and everything like that. So I mean, mentally, sometimes I would think about it, but I just had to get out of my own head and just kind of do my own thing. But it still is an honor to still be oh wow, that it really happened.
You know what's funny though, because to hear you guys speak on it, how it affected you guys, it's still gonna affect you guys for the rest of your lives as you're going forward. And no matter whatever you do or who you come in contact with, that last name, Gates, is just gonna be a talking point for most people. To add to, I wanna know and let our listeners know, I want you guys, if you can, real quick, I want you to break down, although all you guys are brothers, break down each one of you guys' basketball journey up to this point right now.
Like growing up, like I said, I had started in basketball camps real early, but I never played organized basketball until about 8th grade.
Wow.
So I went to all the summer camps. I would literally do it during the summer. After that, I wouldn't really play basketball except for going into our backyard and just getting shots up or anything like that. It wasn't until 8th grade when my parents transferred me to a school called Grace, where I was able to play under Jimmy Brooks, who actually played with my dad at St. Joe's. I was able to play for him in 8th grade. And that kind of was a shock to my system a little bit, because there was so much that I didn't know about the game, playing it in an organized fashion than just going out on the street and just hooping. It was easy just to go to the playground or just, you know what I'm saying, be in the neighborhood playing ball and stuff like that. But to play organized, that was a different mental state that I had to get to, and I don't think I necessarily was ready at the time. So I remember being in 8th grade. I was playing pretty well, and the competition wasn't as stiff as, maybe some other kids that were coming out of 8th grade were playing and everything like that. So I had a pretty good 8th grade season, but moving into high school is when things got a little bit more challenging, because, you go to St. Joe's, they want to play, teams that got a lot of talent. And I don't think I was necessarily ready for that coming in as a freshman. My game was ready, but I don't think up here I didn't have it locked in. They're like, hey, man, you really got to go get what's yours. It wasn't until that following year, my sophomore year, is when I kind of all right, let me calm down. I don't have to be my dad. I can be myself and still be successful at this sport. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I just remember playing my sophomore year, was doing pretty well. And then things, for whatever reason, just didn't work out at St. Joe's with Ping. Love Ping. Rest in peace to Ping. But things just wasn't working out for me. I think it was just too much, being the namesake, Hoop Dreams being what it was, going to St. Joe's, wearing the same number, basically wearing the same jersey that he had on. Yeah. I think it was just too much. So then my parents did transfer me out of St. Joe's, and I went to a school on the west side called Foreman. And that's where I really started to find myself and become who I was. And it probably had a lot to do with just being back in the hood, just playing with, guys who I didn't necessarily know, but grew up around and everything like that. Right. And they came at me, and I had to respond. And I think that was the best thing for me, because it made me take my game to another level. We was playing in the Red West. Wow. It can be tough competition in there.
Who was that coach? Who was that coach coaching you at Foreman?
It was Coach T Head. Shout out to Coach T Head, Terry Head. He got me right. I always quote him for like
Yes.
bringing that dog out of me that I needed at that time. He really made me like understand it.
Yeah.
Like, man, like you can play, but you got to go take it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So was playing for him, and then we moved, transferred schools again out to Gwendolyn Brooks, which is on the south side, and that's in the Red South. So we playing Simeon, and we're playing Morgan Park, and we're playing some you know what I'm saying, tough competition. I came out in the class with Jabari Parker and Kendrick Nunn and all those guys. So it was definitely a whole bunch of fun games playing in the Red South.
And that's crazy that you was able to play in both tough conferences on both sides of the city. That's rare. You don't really get that from players, but you go to the Red South and you playing against these guys. How did you feel your game was growing and you was like out there on the court like I can play with these, I can hold my own with these dudes?
Truthfully, when I was there, I already knew that I could. It's just that, you know what I'm saying, when you're in a different conference and everything like that, you don't get to play them unless you meet up in the city tournament or you play them in the state. You know what I mean? So when I got a chance to like go against them, like I tried to go at them. Unfortunately, when we did play Jabari and them, I was sick. So I couldn't really like, you know what I'm saying, do everything I wanted to do. Still played all right, but I literally was coming off the flu. Maybe 2 days prior to that was coming off the flu. So that was definitely fun. Just being in that environment, it's just like, it's like you can't take no breaks. Like nobody gonna give you nothing. Like you really got to go for it. You know what I mean?
And it's so funny, like how you talking. That's how dudes in Chicago play. They play like they name is on the line every time. Like that's all they have. Like, you know, I'm playing for my name out here, so I can't, you know, come out here and stink it up at any point. Like, and it's no like an easy game. Like, cause all them schools is like you just said, Morgan Park, Simeon, like, gee, King, like, my God. So it forces you to have that positive, consistent game every time.
Yeah. People coming at your neck, especially when they know who your dad is. Like out there, they don't care about, I'm Will Gates' son for Hoop Dream. They don't care nothing about that. So they was coming at me. So I just, like I said, I just had to respond. And I think that just helped build me, you know, build my character up.
Right.
So when that summer, my parents decided to move us to Texas, San Antonio, Texas, I brought us aside to this area that like they probably hadn't seen before. Cause I was coming at people's necks from day one when I got here. I was like, ain't nobody really got like a grip on this area. So let me go ahead and do that. And was able to have a pretty successful senior year down here. Was on Yahoo, all types of stuff. And it was a cool experience to be like out of Chicago, but still be successful. So I didn't have to deal with none of the Hoop Dream stuff. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And I was able just to play and just perfect my game at that time.
That's beautiful.
And then after that, moved on to Furman University. I was there for about a year and a half, had a pretty solid freshman year. Sophomore year, things just weren't working out over there. So I decided to make a move and change. And then that's how I ended up at Houston Baptist University to play for Coach Ron out there.
And what was that move for you like? Because you didn't transfer, you already like experienced in transferring schools and being able to, you know, not let that affect you mentally and go right in and have that dog and put it on the floor. What was that transition like leaving Furman, hopping right into Houston Baptist, laying that foundation down for your brothers to come behind you?
At first, it seemed like just like a fresh start. So I think I was just really just happy about that. Prior to getting to there, I had 2 knee surgeries that kind of took away like a lot of my athleticism. And at that time, I didn't necessarily know how to work myself back up to get back to how I was used to playing. So I had to completely change my game while I was out there. So it felt like a fresh start. My knees felt better. I was starting to get my athleticism back and everything like that. Guys seemed to really respond to me well. They were playing hard in practice. I was getting along with everybody. It felt really, really, really good. And then moving on into, I think, like that following year, I got hurt again. But at this point in time, I think I was so mentally prepared for just the challenges that came with it. And I understood that, like, hey, maybe this is just God testing your resolve a little bit. You know what I mean? I could have easily been like, oh, man, I hurt myself for the 3rd or 4th time. I might as well just go ahead and give it up. You know what I mean? But I didn't let myself get to that type of low.
Yeah.
And then obviously with me being there, it made it super, super interesting for my coaches to take a look at Jalon coming up. And of course, I was excited about it because obviously we're brothers and we've always been around each other, but we never played with each other. We played around each other. You know what I mean? So having him there was truthfully just like the greatest thing for me. I think at this point in time, I had started to realize that maybe my hoop dreams weren't going to be leading me to go play professional basketball, but I could do something great for my brother and kind of help him get acclimated to the college game, give any knowledge that I have. Yep. I had a chance to wear 22 that year. I decided to wear 21 and let him wear 22 to start his career there. So it was definitely a beautiful thing for me just to have that experience. And then obviously I finished up, and then Jalon continued on. And now I'm just living, married.
Awesome.
Still play ball a little bit. You know what I mean?
Look at that. Y'all hear that? He's married, baby. That's what's
man,
up.
It's crazy.
Full hoop dream come to the circle. Look at that.
Absolutely.
That is beautiful, man. Jalon, what's up, man? Let our listeners know about your basketball career and what you had to go through.
William's stories and ours kind of like, we have different streams. We kind of lead to the same area, like the same ocean. Like we just, kind of go different ways. Same thing. I was doing camps and stuff like that. I don't even remember I was real young, and I was going to them Joe's camps, and I was playing the 1v1s, trying to get the free throw competition, all that other good stuff. If you go to St. Joe's camp, you know how competitive those things can be. And I feel like that was my first real taste of like, wow, this game is so fun. Because my dad has never, and the rest of our brothers can attest to this, he has never pushed the game of basketball on us. Yes, it would be in the house. We would be watching NBA. He would get us the video games and stuff like that, but he's never once said, hey, guys, just because I play basketball, you guys have to play basketball. So he was just allowing us to fall in love with it naturally, opposed to pushing it on us. And when we went to the Joe's camp, it wasn't like a nervous thing. It wasn't like a anxiety. It was like, wow, I actually get to come out here and just enjoy the game, the period of the game. Like as a young kid, you get to have that innocence, like, wow, I'm just out here just getting those shots. I'm out here just competing, having fun, building relationships and stuff like that. So that's really where the spark of I really want to do this came from. And from there on, we went to this school called NICL, which stands for Northwest Contemporary School. Oh no, Northwest Institute for Contemporary Learning. And there was no basketball there. They didn't have the gym was about the size of this office. There was no basketball there whatsoever. So during that time, like Will said, we were just playing in our backyard pretty much. We really weren't playing organized ball. And this when I was like in third and fourth grade. But then my dad, like Will said, when he was in 8th grade, I'm 3 years younger than Will. I was in 5th grade. My dad transferred, but we went to Grace Lutheran. And that was my first taste of playing in like organized basketball. And yeah, for those who have never played organized basketball and go straight into organized basketball, it's two completely different worlds. Like traveling goes, you got to follow all these rules and stuff like that. Double dribble stuff. You got to learn the game genuinely, and it's not just offense no more. You got to play on the defensive side of the ball and stuff like that. So naturally, I just had more ability than them dudes. To be honest with you, like they really couldn't play with Will and I's natural ability. So we just pretty much dominated that league. But then it came to a point where my dad felt like it wasn't really maturing our game. And by this time, Will was gone. This is my I was in 7th grade at this point, and he decided to take me out of that and put me in the AAU program where I can really develop my skills and learn from there on. So I was on the Athlete Within, TAW. That's why I went from there, played with them a little bit. And then from there, my 8th grade year after I graduated from Grace Lutheran, that's immediately when we moved to Texas. So my first taste of like true like hard hitting basketball was here in South Texas in San Antonio. I went to a school called Samuel Clemens. And it's your freshman year in a whole different city. I'm going from literally living on the west side of Chicago to playing in a suburb in southern Texas. Is completely different worlds. These dudes don't even they call pop soda. Like they're just different people. I mean, they just different people down here, and nothing. It's different. So they really couldn't understand why Will and I took the game so seriously. For them, it was really fun. It was really like man, what you doing? We just had this as a period, but Will and I, we would just crossover step backs. We were going to the rim hard, like every rep we were trying to get it in. We didn't want nobody to score on us. We were like, no, you really can't play. You can't play with us. Like we were going really, really, really hard. And I feel like that attitude was said by Will, and I really just followed it. My freshman year was Will's senior year. Will was cooking them dudes all year long. I mean, he was destroying them. It wasn't even funny. I remember our first preseason game Will played, there was like 6 people in the stands. And by literally like the 4th game, Will had that place packed out. Because they were like, have you heard this game? Will Gates?
What?
He out here hooping. Like, yet, I kid you not. Nobody was at them games. Nobody. It was like literally like maybe two parents and a few janitors. Like nobody was at the game.
So Junior went there and flipped the whole script on him.
Oh yeah, like he was after 30. He was cooking them. That's kind of just what I followed. My freshman year, I went from I played a little bit on the freshman. After a few games, I got moved up to the JV, and then I just played at the rest of the year on the JV. And I was just really just following his footsteps because people down here didn't understand that football is the main thing.
Right.
Basketball really isn't the main thing down here, so that's why I really didn't have the attention and the hype. But what Will brought, I really just followed in. So after my freshman year, my sophomore year, I came into it with an attitude like, hey, listen, I want to be the best basketball player in the state. I want to have the most success I can have. I want to be the best basketball player I can be. And being pushed by my dad, it really wasn't that hard because we could just put the ball in the basket naturally. I can shoot.
Yep.
God gave me a talent to be able to shoot the ball. I was always quick. I can jump. So I said, there's no reason why me and my team can't be the best team in the nation. At that time, I don't know if your followers would know this, but Alamo Heights, who was in our conference, and we were at 4A at the time, were the best team. They just had a bunch of tall white dudes. One of them went to, I can't remember, Dave, you remember the team he went to?
Went to Georgia
Yeah,
Tech.
he went to Georgia Tech. He was just he's just tall.
Oh, wow.
They had a bunch of dudes, and we really couldn't get nothing on them.
Let me ask you this. Tell our listeners how that 4A and level is in Texas, where the best schools at and where Clemens was.
Yeah. It's on the A system, so it's go 1 to 6. So 1 is like you got like 200 people in the whole school. Like that, it's just by population of the school. So 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 6A. And in our league, we had, I don't even know, Shirts, where we live right now, Shirts/Cibolo, really wasn't as big in 2012 or 2013 as it is right now in 2021. It was not that many people down here as it is now. It's really boomed since. So we went, at that time we were 4A, and it was just really competitive league, like both football, basketball, all the sports. It was just really competitive league. So from there, had a really good sophomore year. We ended up being the best team, not only the best, and we ended up beating Alamo Heights to be the best team. We won our conference straight out. We actually ended up going all the way to the playoff and making it to state.
Wow.
And fell short in we made it to the state playoffs and fell short in the semifinal game. But overall, that year was just really good. I made all conference, all for our state. Like I was in the newspaper and stuff like that. So I had a really successful year, and I just really correlated that into my AAU season where I started playing. By the end, it was called Team Hoop Dreams. But at the time, what was it called? It was called
Surge.
Yeah,
Surge. Surge Force, what it was called. And that's where I really start to meet some of my like friends and stuff like that. We just started to play, and I had this coach called Coach Dunkley, who was really good friends with my dad. So it was just a real coronation of just like my skills progressing. I was getting mature and more. My game was growing more and more, and I had the experience at this point where I felt like nobody can really touch me. I was on just a high of momentum of my game and maturity and stuff like that. And that really led me into my junior year, which we went back to state, or won our conference straight out, and kind of fell short again. We lost again in the semifinals at state, but it was just a reminder that, to take nothing for granted, because honestly, I thought at that point I was playing really well. I thought we were just going to dominate coast, but then you realize you get to the really, really top level. You're like, man, they got good players on that side too. And with our team, we just weren't really able to get it done. But after that, again, had another good session in the summer in AAU, and that's where I started to get the interest from HBU. Will at this point he already transferred from Furman to HBU. So we went up to HBU a few times and saw them. I already knew Coach Ron. I already knew the coaching staff up there pretty well, to be honest with you. I've known them since my sophomore year of high school. And that's when I first grew the interest of Coach Ron. I had a few other schools, but in reality, how many people get to play with their siblings on a Division I team, let alone basketball, football, could be table tennis. I don't know how many people get to play with their sibling and how much of a blessing that would be. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, honestly, it would take a Duke offer for me not to go to HBU
Right.
in all seriousness, because that's just something special. That's a once in a lifetime deal. You only get so many opportunities like that in your life, and I really felt like that was my opportunity to really do something special with Will. So
Wow.
the chance I could get, as soon as he offered, I committed literally like that day. I already knew, that was what was meant for me, what I feel like God had for me in store for me.
Beautiful.
And which allowed me to free. I was free at that point. I signed in towards the end of my junior year.
Yeah.
And I was free. My senior year, I just had fun. A lot of people are stressing their senior, like, where am I gonna play here? I got this top 5
Right.
here, top 5. I was free. I was allowed to just Will's waving his head because he knows that experience, but I was just free. I was able to enjoy nothing, no matter what was on the court, whether it was a coach, whether it was players on my team.
Right.
I was able to just enjoy my time, and that's not something many basketball players who are aspiring to go to the next level can say.
Right.
And that's again because my dad gave me that advice, like, listen, son, you don't want to do what I was doing. I had stress. I was going through all this other stuff. I had so many schools to pick from. Like, man, pick who you want to go to and enjoy that decision, because you don't want to look back and say, hey, I didn't have a good senior year.
Right.
Um,
So that's crazy. Houston Baptist to have 2 Gates boys on campus.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah, and that led into my freshman year. Going into it, I feel like I said, I already knew the coaches. Like, I'd known them for 3 years at this
Right.
point. I'd known them dudes already. It was just adjusting to the college game, man. Nobody tells you this. My dad tried to warn us.
You said warning.
And Marques is experiencing it now, but man, when you get up there, you got to lift the weights. You don't have arms no more, man. And for me, I was 150 going into my freshman year. Man, I couldn't do a layup, let alone shoot a free throw.
Yeah.
At the whole first 2 weeks, because it's just a different speed.
Yeah.
Them dudes move faster, they're bigger, they're stronger. It might be mid-major level, but man, them dudes don't act like it. They this is their livelihood, pretty much.
Yep.
They have to go this hard because they will get somebody in there to replace you like that.
I want a quick day of Jalon's routine of going from high school to college. So it'd be like I wake up, go to class. Well, first we have a morning practice. Like break that down for me real quick.
Oh yeah, I'll just give you the average day of my first year. I would wake up 5:30 because my weight was at 6. 5:30, eat like a yogurt or something like that, like a yo plate and maybe some berries, and go right into weights. We have an hour weights from 6 to 7. After 7, I had class at 8. And from 8 to 9, and then 9 to 10, that's 2 back-to-back classes. After that, I immediately practiced at 11:15 to 1:30 or maybe even 1:45, depending on how long the practice is. After that, study hall. You go right into it. So you wake up at 5:30 and it's already 2, 3 o'clock and you are not even in your bed yet. And after that, guess what they want you to do? They want you to go do something with charity. They want you to go read books to some kids. So you really not getting back into your crib until about 7 o'clock. Like, it's not a game. These college life is not, it's not for the weak. No matter what level you're playing with, no matter what sport you're playing, college life is. It's an all-day thing. It's a real job. And I'm not even talking about homework. I just literally just got back to the room, got some food because I had to pick it up from our cafeteria, get back to the room. Before you do anything, you got homework. And that's kind of the deal. It's just it's tough, honestly.
That's crazy. Setting the tone for that little man coming behind him. Hey, my coach always told me this. He said, dude, it's levels to this. So coaches always used to try to that first day or first week of practice, you getting up, they want you to throw up. Like they trying to force you to throw up. Suicide. We didn't touch a ball for like about the first week. It was just all conditioning. It's like, what the hell is this? Like, what? Dude, we playing for, when they say 40 minutes of hell, that's what they mean, literally. Like, you don't supposed to get tired. Like, no, I'm tired. Like, somebody come sub me right now. I can't stick this dude right here. Keep him from going. I'm talking about we used to do dry drills. And it was mentally getting you conditioned for this whole season.
Yeah.
Marques is a little bit different than William and Jalon. I can honestly say, out of all my boys, and they could tell you this too, I probably was the hardest on William when it came to just everything because he was my first son. So it wasn't just basketball; it was life. Hey, Spooty, that's what I call him. You gotta do
Right.
this, man. You gotta, hey, this. Come on with me. Like I would grab him and pull him with me. So I walked him step by step. With Jalon, I was a little bit looser, but not as loose because Jalon always worked extremely hard on everything he was doing. So a lot of my conversations with Jalon is like, hey, man, you got to let that stuff go. Don't think about it. And Jalon developed an attitude where my pop said, let it go. So he lets it go and don't even think about it anymore. So I've always said this, if you got to Jalon, you did something extremely, extremely bad to him. Because he can let the small stuff go. Whereas with Marques, I can honestly say I spoiled the mess out of Marques.
Really?
You need gym shoes? Here's gym shoes. You need a new basketball? Why, that one don't bounce the same? Let's go get you a new basketball. You need training stuff? Let's go get you training stuff. You know, his upbringing was different. So Marques, give them your hoop dream story.
Yeah, I can definitely say a lot of that is true. I did have a lot more opportunities than. Okay, we did.
Don't even get me started.
Right.
Okay, yes, I had all the opportunities to do it, especially growing up watching William and Jalon. Like, I know I was still young, but with a lot of it, but even going to go see Will and Jalon's games when they would play at Grace, like I would be watching, but I feel like I didn't take full advantage of it when I needed to at certain points in time in my life.
Right.
So we would wake up for like drills and stuff early in the morning. I don't know, I was probably like 11 at this time, and we're going through drills and everything like that.
Right.
And I'm going through it just like, just kind of, through the motion and stuff, like, because I didn't understand how it was to them. Like, they took it so serious, and at the time I didn't understand. I really didn't understand. I took basketball for fun. Like, I wasn't even that serious in it yet. But like, I think as I got older, I started to like really like see like basketball is like it's a business, but it can be fun. But like, you got to like take it, but you got to take it serious because it's like, it's an eat or be eaten type of world when you try to play. So that's just, I had to take that mentality. So for me, most of my basketball stuff started when we came to Texas, but still, I'm like still young. But think about this. Like, yeah, I got taller over the time, but I was really like pint size. So I'm like 4'5" trying to play with 16, 17-year-old dudes in the YMCA, and like people that Jalon's playing with in high school, Will's playing with in high school, and we would go like every day. And then someone would just happen to take me up in the court, and I'm over here doing all these dribble moves like this, hitting step back, stuff like that. Like that was kind of my I guess, quote unquote, street ball for them.
Yeah, right.
But that was my hoop,
right.
Going to the wall, trying to get better every day. So that was my drills. That was my type of hoop dream, like starting. Because for me, I seen it all my life. Since I was 3, basically, I had hoops that we would have all around the house. We would break away rims, even though I could say I broke all the breakaway rims, even though. So yeah, I defied the odds when it comes to breakaway. But my real taste of organized basketball started when I was in 7th grade. A school in Texas called Corbett.
Okay.
It was the junior high school, so it was only 7th through 8th grade. That was my real taste. So I actually really had an amazing 7th grade year. I averaged about 19 points per game. We beat the number 1 team in our conference that was at that time, which was also Alamo Heights. Funny enough, it was the junior high school.
Okay.
So that was my real taste. I was playing really well. I feel like once I got to 8th grade, so I have a different story than a lot of them. I feel like that's when I realized my dad is Will Gates from Hoop Dreams, because a lot more people started coming up to me, and I kind of let that get to me a little bit. So I had a little bit of a rough 8th grade year, but I still kind of bounced back towards the end and still was able to play and stuff like that. So then this is leading me into high school. So once high school comes, that's when it's oh yeah, this is my freshman year. I was playing so hard, and then I had the same coaches, William and Jalon. And then every day I go into the gym, I see the banners that says state, their names is on it, stuff like that. So I kind of took that into account as I got to do that for myself too. I want to have that. So I went in there every day. Like I was asking coach, oh, when's basketball? When are we gonna do this, and that? Me going into the gym, I'm thinking we finna start hooping right away. The first 2 weeks of practice is just pivot work and stuff like that. I'm like, what am I doing?
Right.
I'm like, why haven't we touched the basketball?
What?
But yeah, that was kind of my first introduction into real, like, this is high school basketball, because Jalon, he started off with 4A, and then later on he got to 6A. But my first start was 6A basketball, which is like, by that time, because Will and Jalon had like made basketball so popular, a lot more like the actual athletes started pulling into these schools. So basketball itself started to raise up. So like the competition level got better and better each year since they had been there and after they left. So my class of 2021, for my senior class, like we really like started taking basketball like, oh yeah, we can like actually do something by the time we get to the varsity level. So my freshman year, I was working so hard that I got the opportunity to play JV basketball my freshman year and get kind of like the looks of like how it really was.
Yeah.
But again, I'm still pint sized, so I'm like 5'1" playing on JV
Right.
with these dudes who are like already 5'10", 6 foot. And it was a lot for me. I definitely took a lot from my freshman year and learned like, hey, this is what you have to do, different stuff like that. But I ended up having a really good freshman year, which led me to still be playing JV my sophomore year, which I really like kind of like broke that out, like broke my shell a little bit, because I got a little bit taller, got a little bit bigger, stuff like that. So that's when I was averaging about 14, 15 points per game. And then I really like took my game to a level where I was like, you gotta actually like play for real. Like you can't have inconsistent like tendencies sometimes, because sometimes I would play and I would have like 15 points, but then sometimes I'd only come out the game with 9 points.
Right.
And then that's when like, my dad would just like sit and tell me that it was like, I've never forced a game of basketball on you, but if you're gonna do this, you got to do it. Like you got to do it for yourself, and not just because, oh yeah, I'm Will from Hoojing's son.
Yeah.
Like you got to want this for yourself. So I took that into account. So when I started playing varsity from my junior through senior year, the biggest thing for me during my junior year was that at the end when COVID hit, that was like something that like I had never like thought would ever happen.
Yeah.
Like I was going into my senior year, I found out we were getting a new coach, and I just like it kind of like broke me down, because I was like, man, we can't play basketball.
Right.
Like I honestly didn't know what to do. Like I was kind of like mentally just like didn't know what was going to happen. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to play my senior year, because I was looking forward to AAU basketball, which it was like, I was actually really like, I was so ready for AAU. I was like, I'm about to start cooking this and that. I'm going to get offered here left and right, but I didn't get to do that.
That got shut down too.
Yeah, that got shut down too. So once that really happened, I was stressing. I was stressing for real. I was like, man, like, am I going to be able to play here? This and that. I'm looking at, oh man, maybe I can get, maybe like a JUCO thing and then try and transfer the next year. But then I honestly got blessed when COVID started to like a little bit die down in my area. So the coach, he texted me and he was trying to get everybody together saying like, hey, we're going to start stuff during the summer and then try and do this and that. So by the time the season started, we'd be able to get ready. So once we had that like first couple of weeks before school started and we started doing that, I started like really picking it back up, because over the summer, my brothers, my dad, Jalon, we all was like trying to go to the park pretty much almost every day. We're getting in conditioning, riding bikes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Will and Jalon was just out there just like really trying to help me like understand that it's like, just because basketball stopped for you doesn't mean that you can't still work hard and still get better at it. So, and you know how it is to be outside. Like if you're going through the elements, like you got to like really like focus on shooting, because the wind could blow here or there. So that helped me out as well with my game, because that was also through the phase where I was going from shooting a push shot to actually shooting the ball. So that really helped me throughout the year. And then I went from I got bigger as well again. So I went from 140, like 5'5" to 5'10", and I'm like 175 or something like that. So I had a tremendous like growth spurt out of nowhere. And like my entire life, I was like, man, I ain't never gonna grow. And then like God just
you just said to yourself, like, damn, I'm still the same height I was last year. Now you just have a growth spurt and you just like that confidence just take over.
Yeah, and it's like I've always had the athleticism, always had the ability to dribble, but it was like I kind of like took the approach to the game. It was like I did more layups and stuff like that. Like I learned how to finish at the rim like really well. Like
Mm-hmm.
I took my advantages like to be able to get past guys. So if a dude was bigger than me, has he dribble, get to the basket? I learned how to do that so well that it's like when I got bigger, I had to like, oh man, I have muscle now.
Right.
Like if the dude comes to me, like he gonna bounce right off me if I get to the lane. So that made my senior year a little bit easier to be like, oh yeah, I could go get a bucket whenever I want to.
Right.
Like I could dunk on someone's head now. Like I was really like I could really do that if I wanted to. But especially coming off the year, so we didn't have that best of my junior year. We didn't have that great of a season because it was like a bunch of guys and coaches kind of threw us together, and we really had no chemistry like that. So coming into my senior year, it's like everybody who I've been playing with up from 8th, 7th, 8th grade, we were like, yeah, this is our year that we got to like turn that whole season, like not even making the playoffs. Like making the playoffs this year felt like a big accomplishment coming from COVID. It made me feel like, oh yeah, like we accomplished something like great, because it was like I didn't even think basketball was in the question. I had no idea. So it was really a blessing to like be able to play. So after my senior year was over, we had a good year, 17 and 11, all that other stuff. So at the end of the year, I was just kind of like still thinking. I was working hard, going to camps and stuff like that, trying to get looks and stuff from colleges and stuff like that. And I just happened to one day, me and my dad was sitting down and talking, and he asked me to send him some of my film because I went through Huddle, started making all videos and stuff, sending out to plenty of college coaches. My dad asked me to send it, and then that's when we got in touch with Coach Ron. And then I got a call from him. He was just asking me how I was doing, stuff like that, how's school. Like the first thing he asked me was just like, how was I as a person, just asking me my personality and stuff like that. And I feel like that was the first thing for me where I was like, it was more than basketball, but still like, yeah, like he wants to see how I am. After that, that's really how I got, well, of course, William and Jalon went there. So that also helped for my chances to like get a good look. And then once he watched the film, he was actually really surprised to like how my game was, because I have a mix of William and Jalon. So I have Will's body, I can get to the basket easily, but I'm also still like a thin frame. So it's like I can get past guys quick like how Jalon could.
Yeah.
So it really like helped my game out, and I really took a lot of stuff from them. Like they can attest to it. Like I've stole moves from Will plenty of times.
You're supposed to.
And then I've always watched Jalon, how he was able to pump fake, step over, do some moves like that. So I've always looked at their games so tight to like still to this day, like I can still go watch Will and Jalon's highlights and still like be like, oh, how'd they do this move? Or I'll ask them how'd they do this, and then they'll still take me to the gym and show me and be like, hey, if you do this move like this, you can get a bucket every time, whenever you want to. Like, and then now that I'm at HBU, it's honestly a blessing. Like I didn't know I was gonna be here, but I'm thanking God that I am here. And my freshman year is actually going pretty well. We have a scrimmage coming up this Sunday against UTEP. So I'm really excited for that. And it's more just being excited, just like to be here, but also taking it serious. And one fact is like, even though William and Jalon were here, like this is like my time to like actually like get out of the whole focus of like, oh yeah, they were at this school, like how I did in high school. Like I gotta play my game, not play, oh, how did they play when they were here? Like I gotta play my game. So now that I'm understanding that, I feel like I'm starting to play better in practice. Weights is starting to get easier. Like I'm not like struggling as much as I was. Like shooting's getting better. So I feel like now I'm starting to get adjusted, and then the coaches are starting to see it a lot better for me. So now this year, I feel like I can actually do something really great.
How we was talking about is levels to it. You going from your senior year to HBU. What was your shocking moment that made you like, damn, it's another level from high school. Like, shit, these dudes. And take us through your day.
For me, honestly, it was more the shock of having to be back to back, like classes. So for me, I'm used to, okay, wake up early in the morning through high school, have class periods. But now we have 7 a.m. weights, and then 10 a.m. study hall. Then I have to go to my 11 o'clock class. And then after that, like barely get a pocket of space to go get something to eat, do some homework, and then go to my next class. And then literally like 10 minutes after that, we got practice for about a good 3 hours. So by that time I get out, it's 7 o'clock. So for me, the biggest change was time management and trying to figure out like the best times to have fun, but then still be like, hey, you got to get in the gym. So when I first got up to school, like the weekend before school even started, I was in the gym every day, literally every day, getting up shots like that. Cause I didn't want to be like, oh yeah, let me just enjoy the aspect. Like I enjoyed the time, but like I wanted to still be ready by the time Monday morning came.
Yeah.
That was like, hey, let's get in the gym, let's do that morning weights. Like I was so ready for it. But
so you would say that I'm more comfortable with the routine of being a freshman college athlete, handling the schedule of the school, of getting up early in the morning, lifting weights, mentally and physically. Would you say that you're ready for this year? Like you ready for the experience?
I say, yeah, I'm ready for the experiences. Like, of course, I can always add more things and always learn. Because as I know from basketball, like as more games, as more time goes on, you always learn stuff. But as of right now, I feel like I am ready for like the new things that are coming towards my way.
Hey man, that's my 3 boys. It's funny. One of the greatest things that happened was I never forget when William and Jalon played against Marquette, and I got an opportunity to go back up there and see them play my alma mater, and it was crazy. Agee, I didn't have on their school stuff, nor did I have on my school stuff. I just was like, I was like, hey, these my boys. That's what I'm pulling for. But that's my school. That's what I'm pulling for. And hopefully Marcus will get the opportunity to play against Marquette once his career is over. When I gamble, I'm always looking for a way to get an edge. At MyBookie, they double your first deposit, so they give you that edge. Use promo code HoopDreams and sign up now. Claim your first deposit bonus with MyBookie and use the extra funds to start your winning season. This weekend, you got a few big matchups. The Jazz and Heat battle in the early game, as well as the Bulls and Sixers. And later on, LeBron and the Lakers take on Dame Dollar and the Blazers. Place your bets at MyBookie. Head to MyBookie and sign up now using promo code HoopDreams, all caps, to get your money doubled and start winning today. And remember, good friends don't let friends win alone. So tell your friends to use your referral code so that you'll be eligible to receive an additional 250% bonus on the first deposit. Plus, it's unlimited to redeem, so all of your friends can join the party at MyBookie. Remember, at MyBookie, you can bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. William, Jalon, and Marcus got a surprise for y'all. Y'all didn't know this was coming, but Agee and I, we do this thing called halftime, which y'all know. And y'all about to be put on the spot for halftime. So we're going to keep that same order. We're going to go William, Jalon, then Marcus. So starting with you, Spooty, what are your top 3 favorite sneakers to either wear or play in?
You know me, Daddy. I always love the twos, them Jordan twos. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Jordan twos. I'm gonna go with the Jordan 5s. And then my favorite shoe to play in ever will probably be the Kobe 6s. The Kobe 6s that had the snake skin on them. Yeah, those probably my favorite shoes to play in. But favorite shoes to like wear, probably be some 5s or some 2s. I know it may sound weird to some people, but I really, really like the 2s a lot.
Jay?
For me, I mean, literally, I can remember this day. My dad got these for me for Christmas. It was Derrick Rose hit that floater over Kobe. Oh, no, it was over Pau Gasol on Christmas Day. It's the Addy Zero Derrick Rose 1s. The best shoe I've ever played in my life. And actually, my dad got me another pair when I graduated college. So those shoes just will ever be in my top 3. Then Life of Will, the Kobe 6s are just, they're so nice aesthetically. And they feel great on the feet. And I've never been like a big Jordan person. I actually don't own no Jordans.
Wow.
That might be a shock to like, I own 0 Jordans. So can I cheat and say like I have like, can I just have like a regular walking shoe, or does it have to be basketball?
A regular walking shoe?
Yeah, I like the Ultra Boost, and the Ultra Boost are my favorite walking shoe. So that'd be 3 right there.
For me, I've honestly had like a lot of different types of shoes to wear throughout my. Okay, well.
He wore all of my shoes. That's what he really trying to say.
I wear your shoes sometimes. All right, sometimes. Let me start with my first walking shoe. Air Forces are probably my favorite shoes, like to walk in, like favorite walking shoes. Again, yeah, I've never had any Forces.
Mm-hmm.
The best looking shoe to me is the Jordan 3s and the Jordan 4s. Those are my personal favorite shoes that like if I ever to go get some Jordans, those would be the two that I would go and get. So that's tied down for me. And basketball shoes, I would honestly say when I got the pair of LeBron 15s, I think it was my sophomore year, those are probably the most comfortable shoes I've ever played in.
Yeah.
Those are probably the most comfortable shoes. So yeah, the LeBron 15s.
Y'all generation is different than me and your pop's generation. We got Jordans to actually play in. Like we didn't get no Jordans to just walk around in like, look at my jeans or my Jordan. No, we got the Jordan. We felt if we bought a pair of Jordans and we got them on in the game, oh, we gonna play better just because you got the shoes on. Mentally we was messed up, thinking that no, you're gonna still miss that layup and that jump shot, Arthur. So for you guys, y'all wear the Jordans. Any of y'all shoes? Do y'all play in them or y'all just wear them?
So for me, I grew up in a time where that stuff was starting to change.
Yep.
Cause I was like the middle child of that generation, right? Cause I was born in '95, so like that's still the height of like Jordans and stuff like that at that time. Cause he's still in the league, winning championships and everything like that. So I know coming up, when my dad would give me a pair of Jordans, they was for me to play in,
right?
And that was when I was maybe like 13, 14, 15 in that range or whatever. Yeah. But I know once I got to like 17, 18, 19, if I had a pair of Jordans, I wanted to wear them too. Like I didn't just want to hoop in them. I would want a pair to, you know what I'm saying, to walk in and a pair to hoop
right.
in. So that's kind of how it was for me. So yeah, my shoes, depending on what they are, I'll walk in them. But if I want like some basketball shoes, I'll go get some shoes and I'll hoop in them.
Okay. This is my question for all three of y'all. Your top 3 favorite rappers. Will Jr., you go first.
So this going to be pretty easy for me. And my top 3 was going to be J. Cole for sure. I'm going to throw Rick Ross in there.
Okay.
And then if I had to choose a third one, it'll probably be I'll probably go Nas.
Oh, my man.
3 for me.
Ooh, that's a nice 3. Jalon.
Yeah, that'll probably be 3 for me.
Yeah, don't get offended. I was born in 98.
Hey, man.
I was born in 98. Hey. I was born in 98. So I don't got Jay. And first of all, I wasn't even allowed to listen to them dudes when I was growing up. Right. So I don't know half the music anyway. So I got Cole, Drake, and then I got Wale as my top 3.
Oh, okay. I thought you was finna throw down. Thought you was finna throw a Christian rap out there. Go ahead, Marques. You go first. Go ahead. Your top 3.
For me, honestly, I got J. Cole from William and Jalon, so I'll always listen to that. Mm-hmm. So I'll say J. Cole, Drake, and Big Sean.
Big Sean. Oh, like Big Sean.
Man, can I throw a caveat in there? I just knew my boys was gonna throw some Lecrae in there. Cause listen, I dumped all kind of Lecrae on my boys.
So don't get me wrong, I like Lecrae, but when it comes to like rapping, like you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like Lecrae is nice, like he is nice, but I don't know, man. When I was in high school, J. Cole was my guy.
Yeah.
J. Cole was my guy. Rick Ross has been my guy, and Nas been my guy.
Yeah.
So LL Cool J too. Throw LL Cool J in there too.
Oh yeah.
Legend. Yes. Pops threw Lecrae on it.
So you done forced it on him,
we had a church clothes.
Yeah. Listen, I'm like, hey, here goes some gospel rap for y'all. But top 3, man, I'm gonna hit y'all with something different on this one. All 3 of y'all. Top 3 Marvel movies of all time.
Movies of all time.
Marvel joint.
Top 3 Marvel.
And it's like include like any of the old stuff too. So not just like the MCU stuff, right?
Yeah, those is Marvel. It can even be a cartoon. It's not just Marvel, MCU.
That's tough.
Top 3.
So for me, I'm gonna go the first Captain America, the first Avenger. I'm gonna go Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man 2. And then I'm gonna throw Black Panther in there.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Infinity War for sure. Infinity War is definitely in there. Spider-Man 2, I'll never forget that movie for sure. And then Captain America 2, The Winter Soldier, I would say.
Yeah, I was gonna say Winter Soldier too. Winter Soldier, like just the aesthetics of the movie. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I would say Black Panther as well, and then I'd say Endgame.
This is my next one. Give us your pregame superstitions or routines. What is it something that you have to do before you play that game? I listen to a song, or I gotta tie my left shoe some way different than my right. Like I gotta eat something I need my Fruit Loops dry with no milk.
What would I do? I think when I was in high school, the thing I think I did the most was I would go like into the back of the bus and just throw my headphones on, and I would just listen to Rick Ross before the game. When I was in college, it changed up a little bit because especially during home games, because you can be in your room a little bit before you come back to the gym and everything like that. But I would watch like different like inspirational like quotes and you know, little things on YouTube where they like do a little speech or whatever, like the motivational speakers. I would listen to that before I would head out to the games and stuff like that. And I would shut my phone off. I wouldn't really talk to nobody. Like I would just kind of like just zone in and kind of just focus in on what I had to do that night. So those was my thing. Nothing crazy.
Same for me. I don't think I had one other than I like to sleep. I like to always get at least an hour and a half before a game.
Really?
So I would always, I would always just want to take a nap. Like if I had class, our normal day we play on Wednesday and Saturday. If I had class on Wednesday, man, we would shoot around. I'm going back to my room. I'm sleeping.
Wow.
I set my alarm for about 1:30. I'll go to sleep, wake up, and then head to the gym. Like
I heard some people taking a nap before a game, like 15 minutes, but you say an hour.
Yeah, no. I want to always feel well rested before I play the game. That way, ain't no excuses, man. I got to sleep.
You, Marques?
For me, actually, before every game, I tried to watch either Dame highlights, Kyrie highlights, or Steph highlights. I just tried to watch something there and see something I could apply to the game like that I'm about to play. So that's something I would do.
Top 3, and I'm going to switch it up on you. I'm going to go to Marques first, then you, Jalon, then you, Spooty, because I ain't going to let Marques get away with this. Top 3 favorite NBA players.
Wait, top 3?
Yep.
Okay, top 3 NBA players, like of all time?
Your top 3.
Oh, my top 3. Top 3 would probably have to be LeBron, KD, and then I'm gonna actually say Kyrie.
Okay.
You say it could be all time. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Your top favorite 3 to you.
LeBron, Derrick Rose, and I'll have to say Dwayne Wade.
Wow. D Wade getting that love.
For me, mine gonna be pretty simple. Mine's Kobe, 100% Kobe. Rest in peace, Kobe. 100% Kobe. LeBron now that I've gotten a little bit older, Bron. And then the third guy probably might be surprise you, but I'm gonna go T-Mac.
That is surprise.
T-Mac.
It's not a surprise if you know Will.
Yeah.
Will love T-Mac.
T-Mac was my guy.
My 3 NBA players to watch is MJ, Kobe, and LeBron. That's how I roll.
I can't believe Agee just said that.
I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that.
We got to pause. Oh, I can argue with that. Because somebody who steals somebody else's name and ain't in his top 3.
No, I mean,
I don't even get that one. How in the world can the Tuss, you call yourself Tuss, you put your name on his shoes and he ain't in your top 3?
Players to watch.
I don't even get that.
Players to watch. They're my 3 favorite players to watch.
And he isn't one?
Zeke is above all them dudes, man. What are you talking about?
Oh, nah. Oh, you see how you gonna try to switch that?
Zeke above all them dudes, man. What do you mean? I mean, but them my dudes to watch, though.
I like that, Jay. He had to run it back.
Yeah,
I think he
forgot.
I think he forgot.
He gonna hit him up later.
He got caught up
Isaiah,
in that
big brother, if you watch this, they trying to get me. You know how we get down, Zeke.
When you see this, he gonna be feeling away.
And just like Zeke quote, he gonna hit you back with it. He gonna say, "Okay, little brother, let it be known."
Yeah,
you know that's what Zeke put on all his stuff now. Let it be known.
Like, man, I ain't got no bottle of Shirley over here, man. Like, what's up?
Hey, Will, he gonna have that Michael Jordan meme. I took it personally.
I know, right?
Hey,
That's right. That's right.
hey, what I loved about them dudes, man, that they had a real beef though. Isaiah and MJ, that was a real beef. It just fell into a whole team beef, and I was just like, I was surprised as hell when they agreed to. Oh yeah, Dennis Rodman, Pippen, you cool with this? Man, yeah, he put a big ass knight on my head, but all right, he can help us win a few more championships. Come on. When he got with them, I was like, damn.
Thanks for listening to a special episode of Hoop Dreams with my sons, Will Jr., Jalon, and Marques Gates. Agee and I enjoy catching up with you all. But listen, stay tuned for a special NCAA preview episode where we break down the upcoming 2021-22 college basketball season, which jumps off on November 9th. Stay up to date on new episodes, and if you missed any, they all can be found on iTunes and Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm the goat of my era. I've been a trending topic. I'm as fly as a feather. My pockets macroscopic. See, with time I get better. I'm always in the action, kid. Know I got it locked from Chicago where the toughest live. Concrete jungle, earn my stripes on the pavement there. You make it here, then you can make it anywhere. No comparison. Your game is embarrassing. No one can touch me. I'm all for going there again. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me.
Hoop Dreams, the podcast, an Unlearning Network production. Written and produced by Arthur Agee, Will Gates, Matt Hoffar, with audio engineering from Matt Savage. For more episodes, check us out at www.unlearningnetwork.com.
Gotta be a dog to survive in this cold weather. Ice in my veins, no need for a warm sweater. I'm coming for it all, best believe I won't let up, yeah. Hey, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me.